And I'm going to mute everyone. Feel free to unmute if you can't hear me, you can't see me, anything comes up. And begin to feel the contact of the breath coming in through the nose. If that is in fact accessible to you, feel free to adjust if nose breathing is not accessible. And then begin to sense the contact with the throat and the breath. And then begin to sense how deep inside the breath goes. Without changing or fixing, it's going to be different for every single one of us, but just noticing where the breath goes inside. And then we'll work with a very foundational Forrest Yoga theme of breathing into a spot. And so the invitation here could be to breathe into a physical spot that needs some healing or some energizing, or it could be to something that is an emotional topic, something on your mind. And in those cases, choose a place in your body that is connected to that thing. And begin to place your attention to your spot. And for many of us, we probably have many spots that could use this type of healing work, and letting those other spots that might be waving for attention know that they will get their time with one pointed focus. And feel the power of making a clear commitment to one thing. Begin to get a sense of enticing this spot to absorb the breath, to come online into relationship with you in this process. And then holding this open space of inquiry for what it is that this spot needs. One that I really love and I find a lot of benefit from is unconditional positive regard. So that's one possibility. Love, compassion. So just making another choice here of all of the qualities, sensing the truth of this spot of what it is that it needs. And it might shift as you get deeper and in more clear contact with your spot. And holding this open invitation for your spot to reveal itself to you during our session together, this precious hour in the middle of our day together. Letting your spot know that today is an opportunity to be in union. And then we'll work with taking your hands, placing your hands right, stretching them open on top of your head in any way that works. You can also let the hands rest at any time. And get a sense of holding your brain. Giving yourself time to make that warmth and presence of your hands known onto your brain. Sensing your mind, your intellect, your thinking. And then sense that the breath is asking your brain to find a new perspective in relating to your spot in a beneficial way. And we'll do 3 high-pitched rounds of Brahmari to support this connection to the brain. So what Brahmari is breathing in and finding a humming, buzzing of any pitch on exhale. So relaxing internally, fill all the way up. And then exhaling with Brahmari. Doing 2 more at your own pace. And 1 more at your own pace. And then taking a feeling breath, sensing if there's any small adjustment that you could really get a sense of placing the 10 or so pounds of your head right on top of the atlas vertebra where gravity pulls on your head the least. And then bringing both hands, stretching hands open, placing them somewhere on the chest, either one hand over the other or both hands somewhere on the chest. Breathing into this place of all of your emotional life, your connection to love, giving and receiving, including yourself in that equation. And then finding 3 rounds of what pitch resonates throughout the whole heart, front and back of heart. Inhaling. Pausing to unshield, letting your vulnerability shine to the degree that is correct for you and keeps you in your window of tolerance so that you can uptake whatever is basically good right now into your heart. And then bringing your hands either with your attention or placing hands onto the belly, however it feels like it helps you to ground into the lower torso. And begin to breathe into the belly, making a connection into your creativity, into your very intelligent gut. We talk a lot about how there are more serotonin receptors in the gut than in the brain, and so much of mental health is in gut health, that relationship. So letting your sense of your gut brighten up with 3 rounds of Brahmari, playing with the pitch to see what grounds you and helps you to listen to your intelligent gut. Inhaling. Relaxing the jaw, separating the back teeth so you can let your attention drop down. And then sensing your whole of your body together and all of what may have shifted as a result of your Brahmari, and taking whatever is beneficial about that and feeding it to your spot. And the next thing we'll work with is Baddha Konasana. So coming into feet together, knees wide. And from here, getting a connection to your active feet. So spreading through the toes, rooting the inner edges of the feet together, lifting the ribs up away from the top crest of the pelvis. And we'll come into unlocking the hips. So you can pour the weight onto the left hip, hold on to the thigh, and getting a sense of letting if you can track the energy of vibration from the Brahmari, moving that groundedness into the legs. And then just taking, if there's any mobility, you can move the thigh bone away from the hip, place the sit bone back down, see what happens, and take the hand to the inner thigh, close up to the ASIS, the front hip point. Take the left hand back behind you about 16 inches. Inhale, scoop the chest open and tall, pressing down and away, and then see where you can get into some information here. So you could draw the front ribs in to get into the muscles of the back. You could lift the chest and find out what is the most interesting and useful. Keep pressing feet together. Ground both sit bones. And then from here, check out what's happening with the neck. Maybe you could look down if your neck is tight, or look forward. Just see where your neck feels the most struggle-free. And then we'll take that on the other side. So coming back up, pouring the weight onto the right hip, hold on to the left thigh, and then any amount. Can you move the thigh or even massage the thigh to get any amount, a sense of spaciousness in the hips? Sitting the sit bone back down, place the hand to the inner thigh, close up to ASIS, the front hip point, opposite hand back behind you. Scoop, sense the abdominal muscles perhaps lengthening. And then play around with this. What feels pleasant? What feels useful? And then from there, pausing, check out your neck. And then from there, let's come back up. Let's come into a seated side bend with one leg straight. So straightening out through the right leg. And again, grabbing on, I've been sitting a lot. So just like many of us, notice what's different from what you've been up to that's different. So teasing out a little more space, grounding down through both sit bones, reach out in a way that stretches across the pectoral muscles. And then like you're picking up a big ball, lift the ribs and then coming over into your side bend, plant the hand onto the ground. Grab onto the ground. See what shows up in the armpit. Move the shoulder down. And then let's sweep the arm up over the ear. Spin the pinky finger in. And then play with this. Noticing, you could close the chest on purpose to notice the difference when you roll back. And again, taking those micro movements to tease out space in the tissues and the joints. Let's do some shoulder flossing. So you could flip the palm, moving the arm over and down, either hovering the arm or bringing the hand behind the back so you're in deep internal rotation. And then taking your own time here. And then just noticing if these movements, these flowing movements can feel soothing for the nervous system. Reach really strongly, connect your heart to your hand. Sensing the air moving around your limbs. And then we'll stay in the neck release for a few breaths. You can either hover the hand or place the hand on an object or place the hand behind the back. Either way, broaden across the front of the chest any amount and then take the ear to the shoulder. Stretching open through the side of the neck. Wet the lips enough that you can slide the lips like you're rubbing in lip balm. And then separate the back teeth again. And then this time look down towards the right knee. Tuck the chin back. And roll the chin alongside the collarbones. fluttering the lips, taking an exhale, releasing right up the suboccipitals, and then take the heel of your hand, massage into your forehead, give your head to your hand, and then put your head back up on top of your spine. Release the arm from behind the back, and we'll take that to the other side. So you could use your core to switch the cross of the legs, straighten out in a way that helps you to unclog the hip or make some space perhaps, and then get on both sit bones as much as you can. Get the front hip point ASIS and back hip point PSIS even. Notice if you're rounding or over arching, seeing your version of optimal alignment. And then from there, taking the arms out, reaching up, telescoping ribs, planting the hand, grab onto the ground a little bit, warming up the shoulder blade moving down perhaps, and then reaching in a way that spins the pinky finger in and stabilizes the shoulder blade towards the armpit. Flip the palm, and then either hover the hand or bring the arm behind the back, and then keep going. Taking any kind of exhales that help you let the jaw and the neck go here. Sensing how the fluid movement feels in your nervous system. When you're ready, coming into your neck release, either hovering the hand ear to shoulder or hand behind the back, and then breathing into the side of the neck. And one way you could think about this is each pose is going to create some nutrients, and then you're feeding those nutrients to the spot that you have offered this class to today. So if you find kindness as you let your neck go, offering that to your spot. Looking down, see what shows up in your skull bones and your neck, tucking the chin back and rolling the chin alongside collarbones. And then from there, take the heel of your hand, massaging into your brow point, maybe walking around your forehead, finding a few other spots. On exhale, give your head over to your arm strength. Put your head back up, and then from there, coming off of the side bend, coming back to Baddha Konasana, and we'll come into a twist in Baddha Konasana. I love this because it feels pretty spacious to me, which often twists do not feel spacious. Lifting up through the ribs and then turning to the right, either holding to the opposite leg or maybe the same leg. Keep the feet pressing together, front hip point and back hip point aligned. Shoulders down, and you could either keep the chin over the sternum, which tends to give more awareness of the torso, or look over the shoulder, which helps the neck release. Maybe try a little bit of both. Either way, see where you can fill all the way up into the uppermost lobes of the lungs. Root the sit bones down like you're plugging into the earth to see if that helps you to find a little more height. Finding that ground force action. Coming back, inhale, lift the ribs, and then exhale, spiraling around. So that ground force action helps you to work in a struggle-free way. Because if you just try to get tall from the crown of the head, that's a fine way to try it, but sometimes sitting down first and then getting tall can be more struggle-free. Place your mind into your side ribs, broaden and lift the ribs. And then come back to center. Let's take a few breaths in a forward bend so you can fill all the way up. Pause at the top. And then exhale everything out. You can repeat that if you have a little bit more to let go of. And then taking some time here, press into the ground, shoulders down. And then see where you can place your mind into the back of heart. Breathing in a way that nourishes the tissues and the energy body in that area. And then come on up. I'll do a brief demo. I didn't say this before, but if you have a towel or a pillow, we're going to do some work with the roll. If not, you can adapt it in any way. We're going to do some arm glides with the roll. So I'll demo it briefly think everybody here has done this. So if you want to use blocks or objects to add in a sensory tool, you can. So the move is going to be picking the arms up. Inhale, I'm going to broaden my back ribs. On exhale, I'm going to glide the arms out and up as I squeeze the roll and lift my pubic bone. Inhale, arms by torso. Exhale, squeeze, roll, arms glide out and up. So you can come onto the back and grab props or not, just adapt it to what you got going. But first, give yourself time to connect into back, bottom, ribs, kidneys, and just honoring all of the work that our organs are always doing to keep us going. And then when you're ready, if you are using your blocks, grab your blocks or your prop. Feet are underneath the knees like you're setting up for bridge. Pick the arms up off the floor. Inhale, broaden your back ribs. Exhale, arms glide out to the side. Squeeze onto the roll, lift the pubic bone. Inhale, arms by torso. Exhale, arms glide out and up. Low belly pulls in. Inhale, arms by torso. Exhale, arms glide out and up. Low belly engages. 2 more here. Inhale. Exhale, keep the back ribs making contact. Squeeze, roll. Inhale, stage 1. Exhale, arms glide out and up. Low belly pulls in. Arms come back down. Release the arms. Release the roll for a moment. Take a feeling breath here. And then from here, we're going to come into elbow to knee with hand on sit bone. So this additional move is taking the hand right where the hamstrings meet the low glute. So we'll use that contact point, and I'll add that into what we're doing, but just to give you a visual. Stretch your hands open, interlacing your non-habitual way, and then cradling your brain again, just like we did in our opening sequence. Really get a sense of holding your brain in a loving way. Shoulders down, elbow tips reach up, and then pick your feet up off the floor. There's also a way to work this with feet down if your back needs a little more support today. So I'll talk through both options. Wherever you're at, feet up or feet down, pick the head and chest up, relax your head into your hands. Inhale, broaden your back ribs into the floor. On exhale, both elbows reach towards the right thigh. So it's a small twist. The left leg straightens. If your feet stay down, just pick the left foot up. Keep the right foot down. Low belly pulls in. Stage 2, take your left hand to where the hamstring meets the lowest fibers of the glutes. Contract that area. Curl up a second time. Pull the low belly down. Inhale, bend both knees. Curl your tailbone up, and then on exhale, both elbows reach to the left. Again, it's a smaller twist. If you can get off that left shoulder, great. If not, great. Straighten the right leg. Low belly pulls in. If you're adapting, left foot stays down. Pick the right foot off the floor. Stage 2, take your hand to your right sit bone muscles, hamstring insertion and glute. Contract that area. Curl up a second time. Pull the low belly down. Look at your abdominals and see if you see anything. No right or wrong, just tracking information. Inhale to center. Curl pubic bone. Exhale, both elbows reach right, straighten through the left leg. Low belly pulls in. Take your left hand to your sit bones. Curl up a second time, pull the low belly down. Inhale, bend both knees. Curl tailbone up. Exhale, both elbows reach left, straighten through the right leg, moving thigh bone away from hip. Low belly pulls in. Take hand to sit bone. Curl up a second time, contract. We'll do one more round. Inhale to center. Curl pubic bone, elbows reach right on exhale, straighten the left leg, move the thigh bone away from the hip, making some space there. Low belly pulls in, hand to sit bones. Curl up a second time, low belly pulls in. Inhale to center, last side. Curl pubic bone. Exhale, elbows reach to the left, straighten through the right leg. Low belly pulls in. Hand to sit bone. Contract, curl up a second time, low belly pulls in, and then head and chest comes down, feet come down. Completely relax as much as possible, and then let the energy move to where it needs to go. Sending that to your spot. And then from here, we'll do some work with some core stabilization. So reaching up, starting with, just like you were in Tadasana, internally rotate thigh bones, outer edges of the feet parallel, reach up through the heels. So you're getting that posterior chain active. You can do a little awakening if you like. And then from there, arms can relax wherever feels the most stable. Get the back bottom ribs rooted, keep them rooted. Take an inhale and come into a small straddle. Exhale, bring the feet back to hips with distance. Inhale, coming into a slightly wider straddle. Exhale, curl pubic bone, low abs engaged, come back to Tadasana legs. And then keep going at your own pace, getting curious about reaching through the inner legs, reaching through the outer legs. Keep working, keep breathing, keep the back bottom ribs broadening across the floor. And then when you're ready, pause, come back to Tadasana legs. If you need a break, feel free to bring the feet down. And we'll come into splits here. So inhale, broaden your side ribs and back ribs. And then on exhale, finding a small split. Left leg comes towards you, right leg away. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, right leg towards you, left leg goes away. Inhale. And then again, keep going, getting curious about what shows up here. I'm getting a lot in the back line of my legs, connecting into hip flexors. When you're ready, come back to center, bring the feet down. Either coming into feet together, knees wide for a few breaths. If it feels better, knees together, feet wide. And then relaxing internally, sensing the leg work and core work. So one of the things that happens with sitting and getting less movement is the tissues in the legs get tighter. I certainly was feeling that when I did that. So just sensing the really good work you're doing for connecting to your tissues in a nourishing way, getting the dance party started here, if you will. And then we'll come on into bridge. So feet underneath the knees. And again, if you like, the last few weeks I've been giving the option of walking the feet a little forward. If you have tight hip flexors, might be useful. Outer edges of the feet parallel. Let the arms come by the torso. And if you like, you could grab onto the sides of the yoga mat as an activator here. Inhale, broaden back ribs. Exhale, kick into the ground, lifting the hips up. Finding the most friendly place for your gaze, perhaps right up to the ceiling, keeping the neck still and relaxed. And then again, keep kicking into your heel points, like your heel bones are pressing down. Send the thigh bones forward. And then like you're trying to broaden your yoga mat, pull your mat, anchor the shoulders down, lift the sternum, and then let the grip on the mat go. Open the palms towards the ceiling. And then taking each shape that we work with, finding these sets of actions as this generator of certain energetic tones, feeling tones, gathering that, synthesizing that, and feeding that to your spot. And we'll do a round of Uddiyana here to come out of bridge. So softening internally and then breathing until you're full, pausing when you're full, and then exhaling everything out smoothly and completely. When you're empty, pull the belly back, keep the breath out, lower down out of your bridge. Relax the belly completely, inhale. And then taking a moment there and uptaking the nutrients of that transition. Keep your neck relaxed, rolling onto one side, coming up to tabletop. Spreading through the palms, Pressing into the base of index finger and thumb, moving the shoulder and shoulder blades down the back, lengthening back through your toes, particularly the big toes, and then coming back to that contact point of kidney area, breathing into that lowest band, and then lifting from that area. Let the sit bones reach towards the calves, coming back through neutral. We'll stay with just this half cat and cow. Inhaling, broadening across back bottom ribs, lifting from back bottom ribs, sit bones move towards calves, pubic bone lifts. So continuing with just these pelvic tilts on hands and knees. When you're ready, coming back to neutral, we'll do a flowing turbo puppy. So if you like, you can bring the hands forward, hands with distance. I find this gives a little bit more kindness to my shoulders. Slight bend in the elbow, pull the hands towards the feet, and then the sternum is reaching forward. And then from there, lift up between the shoulder blades, back of heart, let the head go. Bend the elbows, pull hands towards feet. You can add in squeezing inner elbows just like we do in turbo dog, turbo puppy. Keep going here to see what information arises about shoulders, back of heart, anywhere else you can get into here. When you're ready, bring the hands back underneath shoulders. Let the gaze settle to one thing. And we'll come into option to use your block or any kind of object that you're just practicing grip strength a bit. Press the ground away as you're simultaneously pulling your object back to you. Unfurl, reach up, open across chest muscles, and then dial it through. If you have an object, you could tap it, you could tap the hand. So coming into a fluid, thread the needle. You can make it as small or as big as is interesting. Finding that simultaneous of press and pull as you're opening into the reach up. Letting these awareness points of developmental movements help you stay grounded into your own patterns of movement, your own sensations. When you're ready, reaching up, taking one circle forward, and then taking any other movements, exploring the connection of your limb to your core. Placing your prop down. Holy moly, those cork blocks are no joke. And then if you are grabbing an object, grab your object. Press the ground away as you simultaneously pull. Sense how that shows up in your chest. Reach up and then dial it through. If you're gripping an object, see how the grip action as well as the weight of your object is an anchor to more awareness of your body and space, perhaps. And then when you are ready, taking one circle forward, and any other movements here that nourish the tissues of your shoulder. Find some unwinding quality in your nervous system, perhaps. And then place your prop back down. Pause. Next pose we'll take is half dolphin with the palms up. So working this external rotation of the upper arm bone. So elbows come down, hold on to the middle part of upper arms, and then palms facing up. Spread across the hands, send the thumbs away from each other. Lift up between shoulder blades. Let the head go. If you can get a sense of letting your head traction your cervical spine bones, look toward the navel, and then press the ground away with the back of the palms, with the forearms. If it feels doable and interesting, you're welcome to lift the hips as you would with regular dolphin. This may be plenty to examine this external rotation and just focus on the upper body work. As you're ready, if your knees are lifted, place knees down, come back to your tabletop. And we'll come into flash prep. So half dolphin, elbow comes down right under shoulder, plant this right hand down, inner right hand especially. And then the left hand starts underneath the shoulder and it walks back to either a 90-degree angle or about 4 to 6 inches, depending on your wrist mobility. Mine is like a 4 to 6 inch because I have tight wrists. So I'm gonna move my shoulder and shoulder blade down, relaxing my neck. And then from there, it can be really nice to keep the knees bent so you can study. Can I get that hiking of the low abs? Like I'm gonna sit on the ceiling. Maybe you straighten your legs, you don't have to. Maybe you lift the right leg. Either way, keep softening the neck as much as you can. Hug the left inner elbow into the midline. And then gently place knees down to switch sides, coming back through table. Left forearm comes down into dolphin, root the inner hand. Start with the right hand underneath the shoulder, walk it back. Move the right shoulder and shoulder blade down away from the ear. Squeeze the inner elbow towards the midline. And then decide, you could work this knees down or begin to lift the hips up and back, straightening the legs. If it's interesting, you could lift the left leg. Either way, continuing to study this set of actions here that creates this specific asana. Gently place knees down. Let's come into embryo. So coming back into a supported child's pose, you can pad behind the knees if you like. It can be very nice to place something under your head. Sensing how you can breathe into the back body here. Placing your own energetic healing hand to the back of your heart. Sensing the truth of your heart in that area. And then when you are ready, coming back through tabletop. It's coming to down dog. So hands come forward to hands width distance, slight bend of the elbow, spin the eye of the elbow and the bicep forward. And then as you curl the toes under, getting that connection to low abs, like you're gonna sit on the ceiling. And then sometimes it can be nice to keep the knees bent to really find that connection to low abs. And then when you're ready, straightening the legs, taking any movements that help you to get into this shape, depending on what you need from your first down dog in this practice. When you're ready, walk feet to hands. Let's come into Uttanasana. Feet at hips width distance. Great pose to use something to bring the floor up to you. If you have neck tightness, great opportunity to interlace your hands, give your neck a squeeze, look toward your navel, and then take any movements here that help you to find anything pleasant, anything interesting and useful. Take your thumbs into the hip crease. Press that L shape of index finger and thumb back a lot. Engage your low abs and then come on up. We're going to come right into horse stance here. So if you want to use your props, feel free. Or any kind of object will work with that grip strength principle. So stepping wide. So a general rule of thumb is ankle under wrist. Turn the toes out to about 45 and then bend the knees. And then just getting a sense of stacking ribs over pelvis. Taking any movements that help you to settle into the shape. Get into your heels, maybe lift the heels and then plant them back down. And then from here, we'll work into coming into reaching the arms out. And then playing with, as we've done in class quite a few times, just see where you can reach into space. So you're examining proprioception. How can I track my body in space if I'm using objects? Where's my personal boundary? You can come out of the horse stance in any fashion. Just making sure you're staying rooted, taking care of your hips and your back. And then when you're ready, placing your props down, come on up, straighten the legs, and then just sense yourself in space, either warrior two arms or five-pointed star, sensing what it means to let your energy take up its correct amount of space. And let's rebend the knees and work into twisting horse. So maybe give the arms a shake, stacking ribs right over hips, and then playing with your best sense of front hip point and back hip point even. So if you're overarching, the back hip point's going to be higher. If you're over tucking, front hip point's going to be higher. So finding even. And then again, shaking the arms. Let's do right hand onto the top of the thigh. Slide the left hand to the inner thigh, close up to the hip point, and then lengthen the ribs away from the pelvis, relaxing the neck. And then stay. Ground your feet, kick into the heels, kick into the ball of the foot. And then let's take it to the other side. Take the left hand to the quad, slide the right hand to the inner thigh, pressing down and away, lengthening through the core. So you can often get some really nice space in QL, quadratus lumborum on the right side here. And then from there, come on back to center again, straighten the legs, and then sensing that quivery energy you get from warrior two and warriors in general, letting that move throughout your body wherever you need more energy. Rebend the knees. And then from here, let's just come into kite hawk arms. So arms reach out, inhale, palms up, shoulders down, chest open. Exhale, roll the arms forward, slide the shoulders up, let the chest round, and then keep going. And then the next time palms are up and shoulders are down, let the arms come down, slide into straight legs. Again, sensing the body in space, either warrior two arms or five-pointed star. Rebend the knees. We'll come into one more thing here, is doing some arm glides. So you can do this with or without your props, just like we did in the opening sequence. So on stage one, arms are by torso, and then exhale, arms glide out and up. Inhale, arms are by torso, or wherever you can have them with this leg position, arms glide out and up. See if you can sense the relationship between stimulating and strengthening the hip girdle and the shoulder girdle. And then when you're ready, next time arms come down, straighten the legs, sweep the arms out, pause, warrior two or five-pointed star, ground your feet. And then from there, let's point the toes forward. We're gonna come into warrior two. So give your legs some breath support. It's a lot of leg work for a short practice. Pivot I'm gonna mirror you guys, because that's what I've been doing. Left toes forward towards the short edge of the mat, and then bend into that knee. Let's do some of the therapeutics that I love to do in class. Hopefully you love them too. Kick through that back leg. And then from there, let's take this left hand onto the top of the quads, right? So press down and forward onto the top of the quads. And then either with your other hand or your mind, lift this hip point away. I'm gonna hold on to my back hip. It helps me to keep that posterior chain, those sit bone muscles grounded. And then I'm gonna look forward. You could also look over the bent leg. Getting a sense of lifting pubic bone to find that pelvic stability, engage the low abs, keep all that, and then reach your arms out, warrior two. Taking this medicine of warrior two, feeding it to where you need strength and focus. Flip the left palm to the ceiling. You could hold on to the right hip, telescope your ribs, and then reach up and over. Stay in the lunge, and then play with like you're leaning up against a wall. Open the chest. And then really use this transition as a healing move, perhaps, I hope. Reaching the arm, feel the shoulder, hover the hand. Take a few breaths here, taking the right hand, cradling your head, cradling your brain. All of us, I think, really can use that right now. Put your head back up. Let's do warrior two variation with chest opener. Placing the forearm on the thigh, move the shoulder and the shoulder blade down. Take the right arm up, get a sense of chest muscles opening, inhale here, and then take the arm back, maybe chest muscles continue to open. Find the best possible gaze point. Bring that arm back in line with the torso. Reach strongly as you move down. So you're sensing yourself in space. Straighten the leg. We'll do one more standing pose. Take it right to the other side. Half moon. Straighten the front leg, hop the back foot in, and then set up your block about 12 inches on a diagonal from that left baby toe. Keep that knee facing forward and then play with just even floating that back leg. Maybe that's your pose. Maybe touching the block and seeing where that hip is willing to go. Curl pubic bone. Maybe you hold the hip, maybe you reach up. Use the right inner thigh muscles to lift that leg. And then just taking your whole body to sense Ardha Chandrasana nutrients. Where do you need that quality of balancing and reaching in all directions? Lengthen the thigh bone away from the hip as you lower the leg down. And then let's come back into Urdhva Prasarita, wide-legged, upward-facing stance. Give your legs breath support. Pivot your right toes towards the short edge of the mat. Come into your warrior two. And then if you have the mobility, pick up the left heel and spin it out. Kick through that back leg. And then take your hand, press onto the top of the quads, press down and forward. Either use your opposite hand or your mind to lift that front bony hip point away from the top of the thigh. Hold on to the back hip if you like. Stay there. Curl pubic bone up. Engage low abs, just the right amount. Which is always a multi-decade puzzle. What is the correct amount? Reach out through both arms. Either keep looking forward or look over the front arm. Sensing warrior two energy with all of our community of heart warriors together. Stay in your lunge, hold on to your left hip, contract the sit bone muscle so that when you come into your reverse warrior, your pelvis is stable. Wrap the right shoulder blade and then play with opening into, you're leaning up against this friendly, supportive community of heart warriors in your back. Ground your heel points, kick into the mat like you're trying to dent the mat. Neck release, flip the palm. So you just internally rotated the upper arm, hover the hand over the thigh, stretch through the side of the neck, and then cover your left ear. Give your head to your hand, let your jaw go, sense your inner ear, sense your brain, put your head back up, and then bring the forearm onto the thigh, move the shoulder and shoulder blade down, and you can keep teasing out space in this hip with your forearm. And then getting a sense of reaching from the center of your chest as you reach that arm up, pulling in fresh prana. Take an inhale here and then take the arm back behind the line of the torso. Warrior two with chest opener. Keep breathing. Relax internally first and then stretch the ribs. Bring the arm back in line with the torso. Reach. As you bring the arm down, bring the torso up, straighten the leg, kick into that leg, and then hop the back foot in a bit. Let's do our half moon. So again, building this from the feet. I like to align the outer edge of my left foot with the long edge of my mat. Making the, whatever correct distance is for your block. And then just playing with what shows up just by hovering the leg, all of the stabilization, using the left inner thigh, and then of taking Ardha Chandrasana, feeling the unique quality of every single shape we're making. Lengthening the thigh away from the hip to lower the leg down, bringing the torso up, coming back to center. And then from here, we're going to come into a squat. So again, another pose that is very different on everybody. So you could use blocks. If you have tight heel cords, you could put something underneath your heel. So see where you could come into the shape of a squat without causing any pain on your joints. So I am sitting on my blocks. My heels are still up, even though I'm sitting on 2 blocks, but I have the blocks, so I feel supported, but I could even use both. So I will. All of the support. Send out a signal that you're available for all of the support by using all of the props. Maybe closing your eyes. You can keep your balance. And then taking all the time you need, any transition, I'm gonna come rock forward and straighten the legs. We're gonna head to being on the ground, but taking any transition that you need here. Fighting your way onto your back. And we're gonna finish up with a twist. So once you're in your half shavasana, feet underneath the knees, pick the hips up, move the hips about 2 or 3 inches to the right. Bring the knees into the chest. On exhale, bring both legs over to the left. So that small shift of the hips makes it so that the pelvis is still under the ribs when you're in your twist. Let the right arm come out like a wing. You can prop the arm if the ground feels far. And if you like, take your whole left hand, resting it somewhere on the right torso. Sensing the warmth and the presence of your hand to help you keep coming back to presence with your spot. And then taking yourself back through center, shifting the hips back to center and then over to the left. Knees come into chest. On exhale, both legs come over to the right. Left arm can come out with the palm up. Take the right hand somewhere to the left torso. And then if it's interesting, take the whole hand over your beating heart, letting the heartbeat be an anchor as you come closer towards your shavasana. Sensing the truth of your heart in regards to the work you're doing with your spot. When you're ready, unwinding your twist. And then walking through this threshold into the final part of the practice, shavasana, laying it all down. And then letting go of any focus on your spot, any effort whatsoever, letting yourself be held and let go as much as is available right now. Knowing that you're held by your home, the earth, and this yoga community right now. reconnecting to your spot. Feeling the power of making a clear commitment to one thing. And the power of continuing to commit to listen and be open to what's possible with a new perspective with this area. Invoking grace, invoking your guidance to find a new way. Taking all the time you need to come onto one side. Pressing into the ground, keeping your neck relaxed. Sensing your body, your inner body and your environment coming together. And that integration that is more accessible as a result of this type of practice. And then we'll close with one round of Brahmari. So I'm going to unmute all. So you could stretch your hands open and bring your hands to your heart, however you like. And when you're ready, relaxing, take a breath together. Exhaling with Brahmari. Thank you all so much. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, Karuna.
My pleasure. Stay connected. Keep breathing.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
That's exactly what I was looking for.
Oh, yay.
I feel so much better.
Shay, sometimes when I don't know what to teach, I'm like, I'm going to get out Yoga Magic and just read it to everyone.
Yeah, oh, you should. There you go. It's very cute and pretty. Have a good day. Thank you.
Yes, my pleasure. You too.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ashley. So good to see you.
You too.